And then Lou and I went down to the casino and started drinking whiskey. So I was on Fremont Street, passed out
In a planter
in
box.
a planter box, yeah, in
It's
front
like-
of the Golden Nugget, and I got found. I got found by security, and they detained me. They detained me for a couple hours.
This is S. Patrick Brooks with the Heavy Underground Farm Report, and I've got Dan and Alex from Formula 400. Hey guys, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Man,
Stoked.
it's my honor. These guys are hanging out in the bar in San Diego, getting some practice in, it sounds like, listening to some music. What could be better than that? Hey guys, Dan, the last time we talked was at Ripplefest in Texas, and I got to meet you, and it was a big deal for me, man, when you came up and introduced yourself. And if you haven't heard my show before, I use Dan's song Whiskey Bent for my intro music. Thanks. I really appreciate you guys letting me do that.
Of course, happy to do it.
Man, you guys are involved in Ripplefest. You did SoCal Heavy Jam. You got a lot of stuff going on. You got a new member in the band, so I want to talk about all that stuff. But the first thing I want to talk about is Whiskey Bent. So can you give me your take on that song? And then I'm going to give you my take on the song. But it's a song about getting fucked up in Las Vegas.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a little too fucked up.
Is that song autobiographical or just
It's got a story to it, yeah.
Well, you don't have to tell the story if you don't want to. So
it's already out there, but I mean, I'll tell it again if you'd like.
Yeah, I would love to hear it. Absolutely.
Started with you and Lou in a bar, right?
Well, it started with us playing at the venue Counts Bams in Vegas, and you've been there before, obviously.
Yeah.
It's a nice club.
It is. It's beautiful.
When you play there, they give you a pretty decent bar tab. I know it's like maybe $100 or something like that. So after killing the tab, $100 worth between the two of us that were drinking at the time, we were staying at the Golden Nugget down on Fremont Street. Things are real boozy around there. So
yeah, they are.
I think I ended up getting like a 6-pack and then drinking all that to myself after everything I had at the bar. And then Lou and I went down to the casino and started drinking whiskey. Which
you could not be. I will tell you, but that's the last
never
place
do
I
liquor
drank,
after
so.
beer, right? Is that the statement?
Yeah. I can attest to that.
Beer. So just kind of blacked out and got lost in the casino. And Lou put me to bed, and then I decided to go wandering around, and I left my wallet and my phone in the room. So, just kind of wandering around without any identification on me. And
dude.
So I guess I decided I needed to take a nap somewhere out in front of the casino.
Shit. So how did that end up, Dan?
So I was on Fremont Street, passed out
In a planter
in a planter box, yeah, in front of
like-
the Golden Nugget, and I got found by security, and they detained me. They detained me for a couple hours.
They called Lou, and then
they called everybody trying to figure out who I was.
Oh my gosh, man! And you couldn't tell them, obviously.
I was not very coherent, no. So
man, getting fucked up in Las Vegas is something I can identify. Yeah. Yeah, man, that song, dude, the start of that song, it could be at the start of any sporting event. Yeah! Your yell is so it's so great, dude. And then when you did it live, you guys killed that song at Ripplefest.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
And when you
It's a
came
fun
off
one
the
to play
stage,
live.
you even said that. You even said it to me. You were like, "I think that's like as good as we've ever played." I don't know if you just said it for me, but I loved it.
We always have fun
So,
at Ripplefest for sure.
what was it like playing at Ripplefest in that heat, man? You guys played early. It was probably only like 1,000,000 degrees when you guys played.
You know, it was actually worse the first time we played. That was on the main stage, and it was even hotter. I want to say it was like 107 the
Didn't
prior
they used to
year.
do it in June or something?
Yeah, because it was in June. I think it was in June that year, and it was miserable. I think we all got heat stroke probably.
I believe it though, man.
You know, when you're like just kind of incoherent and you know you need water, but you're kind of wandering around aimlessly.
So they, you know, one of the nice things they do there is provide you some water.
Yeah, lots of just water. Yes.
And you guys, go ahead. I'm sorry, Tim.
But it was, I would say, it was a similar temperature that year. Maybe more of a breeze though last year.
Yeah, the breeze was a lifesaver.
Right.
It was cool, man. It was cool to play in Austin. You know, I'm a big Stevie Ray Vaughan fan, and
Yeah.
that's where his hometown is. So, like, I was like, that's a bucket list thing. I want to go play some more.
You go to the statue?
I did
Oh.
the first time.
Yeah.
The first time I rolled through Austin a long time ago.
Nice.
Definitely good vibes there for sure.
For sure, man. Good vibes, good food, amazing bands. That was
Was that your first time at Ripplefest as well?
what was that?
Was that your first time at Ripplefest?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I thought so.
So I was like, I didn't know what to expect, except I was really scared about the heat. But I think the breeze like wasn't too bad, and maybe I'm like 1,000,000 years old now, so I'm like, I like the heat. Turn down the AC, kids. So it wasn't too bad for me. And you guys have played. You guys are veterans of another festival. Oh, hell, I'm wearing the shirt. Planet Desert Rock Weekend.
Yes.
What was like? You guys play? Did you guys play the first Planet Desert Rock Weekend? Or the second one? You guys played pretty good.
There's a little confusion there because John has done a couple and then he kind of stopped doing them for a few years and then he came back. So I think we might have been on the reintroduction for the first one,
Okay.
but not technically the first one, you know.
Okay. Cool. Like the third one or something.
So it probably technically was maybe the third one. Yeah, we did we played the one with John Garcia and Steak.
Yeah, I'm really sad I was not there. Hey, is that the weekend you spent time in the Golden Nugget planter box?
No, this was actually the time before that.
Just check. I just like I just timeline and Dan, just
Thankfully,
figured out.
Thankfully, as many times as I played Vegas, it counts me up. It's only happened once.
Dude, fair enough. Cool, man. Count Fam is such a cool club. You guys, you just had a lineup change. You got a new bass player, right?
Yes.
Right.
I remember, Dan, we were going to talk, and then you're like, hey man, I got to train this. I got to get this new bass player up for the SoCal Heavy Jam, and that worked out pretty well for you. How's that going?
Great.
It's good. He's solid. I mean, he's got a lot of experience. He likes heavy music. He was raised in, I think, L.A. and so big similar age. I think he's just 1971, born same year as me, and so he's definitely a good fit. He's really easy to play music with. He's very talented. He's just an easygoing guy. He loves music. And it's been good. It's been good, I'd say.
He's brought some new, I wouldn't say new life, but yeah, new chops to the old music. He's definitely brought his own elements. So even songs we've been playing for a long time, he's kind of given the drummer Lou some new inspiration for stuff. So I think it's kind of changed the dynamic of the whole band a little bit.
Interplay between the bass player and the drummer is like so critical to a band.
Yeah.
So that's cool that the guy just and you guys jumped in. You had a few weeks, and then you played the SoCal Heavy Jam.
Yeah.
Man. So this is a show that I'm really interested in. Like this is like a show that I'd be willing to travel to because, well, for one, it's in San Diego, and and two, the lineup is just amazing. So tell me a little bit about your experience playing that show last year.
Yeah, I think Kip started it, right? I think Kip, Nacho, and
Nacho from Mezzoa,
Mezzoa,
and Jason Jason from Sea of Snakes and Kip are the three promoters for that show, and they've started it from the beginning. So they just even Kip is still involved with it, even though he's not in the band anymore. He wanted to stay on with that promotion, so he still wants to be involved in the music scene in that way, at least being somewhat involved.
Yeah, Kip's a top-notch guy. I mean, when he decided to step down, he actually ran ads, screen bass players, tried to help us find a replacement. I mean, it was a real amicable kind of retirement for him. So, the fact that he's still like involved in the SoCal Heavy Jam, and still promoting us and like, supporting the band, comes out to see us all the time. It's really great.
Cool, man. That's good to hear.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta, heavy music. You need to thrive, but you gotta band together because everybody that plays live music these days, especially in California, San Diego. It's always tough to get people to come out and stuff. At least
it's hard to get people to come out.
Yeah, it's just I don't.
We have such great weather.
Yeah, well,
People got
there's
better shit
stuff
to
do there.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so that's it. I want to talk about that for a second, guys, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So I
No,
talked
no
to
worries.
a lot of bands from the Midwest, Kansas City, Detroit, bands in like places like North Carolina. And one of the questions I asked those guys is like, you have such like there's a healthy scene in Kansas City, for example, and I'm like, why is your scene so healthy? And those guys are like, inevitably, they're like, there's fucking nothing to do here, dude. Like, there's nothing to fucking do here. So, that's not the case in Southern California, obviously.
Not at all.
Skate scene, surf scene. I mean, skiers. I mean, there's like hiking's crazy. I bet San Diego's a beautiful place. There's art. There's culture. You guys, how did you guys find rock and roll in San Diego? Like, if you talk about the scene, it's like a little tough to get guys to come out. But what like inspired you to like grab guitars and be in a band?
Yeah, I mean, I think just growing up around it and stuff. Personally, I grew up in a place with not a small island in the Pacific, and there wasn't a lot of television. So it was like growing up. There was, you did stuff outside. You did stuff, hobbies. Otherwise, you'd be bored to death on like a 3 square mile island. So for me, I just always kind of kept playing. And that just was kind of a common thread through my life. And I moved around a lot in California, and every time I moved, it'd take about a year. I'd put my instrument down, not even play it, but I'd always start hunting down local musicians and try to find the right gig. And I found Dan and company, and I was super stoked. Got super lucky, so. Worked out for me, and I just do it because it's a great release, and I love the creative aspect of it. We like our gear. We have nice guitars, both Dan and I. You either get rid of all that stuff, you stare at it sadly because you don't play anymore, or you play it. So bring a different guitar to practice every time.
It's fun, yeah.
It's cool.
I'm the world's worst guitar player, and I had guitars. I had really nice
come
equipment. And
on.
finally, it was like, dude, you suck at this. And like after 10 years, I was like, maybe you should look for something else to do. And then the most disappointing thing about like doing this podcasting thing is like, shit, you buy a microphone and a camera. There's no more gear to buy. It's like, what the? Like, I need a pedal.
I beg to differ. I have a studio full of microphones and preamps and stuff.
Shit, don't tell me about that. Tell me about that. All right, cool.
Exactly. I, on the other hand, I wasn't allowed to listen to music when I was growing up, so I guess that's where my
we talked about that a little bit, Dan. Yeah, go ahead and tell me about your childhood and like how that was restricted for you.
Raised religiously, so it's kind of forbidden to listen to rock and roll, which is why it was so powerful to me.
He's like a James Hetfield.
Yeah, well, I used to just listen to the radio, and like I wasn't supposed to, but I would do it anyways. And I used to record songs off the radio just so I could find out who it was and what band it was. And like local stations used to play actually decent rock and roll
Right.
back when I was growing up. Now they don't, but I could listen to AC/DC and Metallica and Pantera and stuff on the fucking radio, and after a while, I just learned who they were, and I went and searched it out in the warehouse music or whatever it was. Got them on CDs, started buying CDs.
Right.
Had a nice little
At
collection
some
going.
point, the parents had to find out what was their reaction.
Yeah, they threw all my shit away a few times, and then at one point, I think my dad realized it wasn't stop. I wasn't gonna stop, so he just was like,
Dan, just a quick aside. You had I think from this, like I read the liner notes on your albums and stuff, and I know your father has passed away, but it
yeah,
sounded like you had he always believed in you, and that's what you put on the
yeah,
back of the album.
yeah.
You
He
want to
bought me
talk
my
about
first
your
guitar.
relationship with your dad just a little bit?
He bought me my first guitar when I was like 11 or 12. So he wanted me to pursue music, but he wanted me to do a different style of music, I think.
Sure.
Well, he was always a rock and roll fan. He loved R&B and the classics basically.
I think he helped you build your studio, right?
Yeah, he helped me build my recording studio, got me into motorcycles. He was kind of a there's two sides to every coin. He had both of those sides pretty strongly. So he had the good and the evil.
Probably like most of us. Probably like most of us.
Yeah,
Probably
exactly,
pretty
exactly,
human.
exactly. He liked to
And
cut loose, but he also was kind of a religious person. It's kind of always tearing side to side. It's always the battle, I guess. But I love
sure.
him. Yeah, we had a good relationship for sure.
It's a good investment because the albums sound great. Dan was the recorder and engineer on both of the LPs records.
Wait, both of these LPs?
Yeah,
Right.
those are the ones.
Wait, yeah. All right. Man, I haven't got to hear this one on vinyl yet because my stereo's in the shop, but I'm super excited about that. But those albums. But the recording on those albums is amazing. Those like I love playing your album in my. I work in a dispensary in Denver, and when I put your album on, the kids are like, "It's pretty good for rock and roll." I don't know what that means, but they like it, and they're listening to a lot of EDM and hip hop. So I think that's really a pretty amazing compliment that they're even willing to give it time.
That's
You
awesome.
guys are writing new. You guys have new material written.
We pretty much got a new album written. Yeah, like we are very close to recording right now. Very, very close. Um, I would say
The same way that you've done the previous two albums.
actually we're gonna record drums at a bigger studio this time. We just wanted a bigger drum sound, I think, overall. And then I'm gonna do everything else at my place. So just to change it up maybe a little bit and
Get some Bonham-esque
yeah,
when the levee breaks.
get some big room mics in there. Yeah, hopefully it'll open
Yeah,
up the sound a
dude,
little
you
bit.
know I love that. Give me some Bonham, baby.
Hell yeah. Our drummer Lou's really into
I brought the idea up, and Lou was really on board with it because he really likes that roomy sound, So hopefully we can get some of that in there as well, and just have another set of ears involved in the process as opposed to just me doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's nice to have other people involved. So
How do you guys handle the writing process when you're doing new material, Dan? I'm just assuming this. I could be totally wrong. I'm assuming you write the lyrics, but do you guys share the rest of the writing?
it just kind of depends. Sometimes sometimes I'll bring in complete songs. Sometimes I'll just have like an idea. Sometimes Alex will have a complete song. Sometimes we'll just kind of get in the studio and work it out.
Yeah, sometimes we kind of mesh some ideas.
Yeah.
Our first song that we wrote, so this would be the first album that I'm on.
Yes.
The first song we wrote was kind of a riff I've had kind of hanging out a long time, kind of Soundgarden-y type riff. And I brought it in and
he started playing, and I was like, "What is that? You need to show me what are you doing right there."
So we took it home, and then he wrote this killer second part to it, and then kind of just blossomed. Super proud of that. It's kind of our first collaboration, and it's called Solitude. And I had lyrics written, but I think Dan had taken kind of the general concept, and then really took it to the next level. So super awesome. Yeah, I mean, it was always my dream to be in an all original band and have a collaborator, right? Not just someone where I'm responsible for doing all the songwriting and all this and all that. Just someone to bounce ideas off of, someone to learn from, and it's definitely been that. So it's been a really good, comfortable, experience working on it. So we're really excited.
Definitely.
Hey guys, I have a question from someone who's watching. His name is Jason, and Jason's asking the question: what's the biggest thing that you draw inspiration from musically and lyrically when you're writing?
There you go.
The biggest
inspiration.
The biggest inspiration
Yeah, so, like, is it from your
like life, or what do you mean?
Yeah, maybe, like, is there a particular? I mean, like, a lot of bands might focus on the surf scene or maybe skateboarding or something, man. Is there something
Right.
that inspires you guys in a way, or hiking, or maybe just like, I don't know, drinking a lot of beer? I'm just kidding.
That's always inspiring, but I think that helps me get the ideas out. I think sometimes it's a fluidity to my brain. Like I always have a block that's going on. If I have a couple beers, it definitely helps me flow a little bit better. But I wouldn't say that's inspiration itself. It's a means to help me.
A lot of the songs are about internal psychic
Yeah, I think it's
experiences,
just,
like
I think it's
like
my own.
internal.
So, like, internal psychology?
Yeah,
Kind of, yeah.
that and yeah, motorcycles and
Yeah.
Motorcycles,
deal
hell
with
yeah.
psychology.
I am not a motorcycle rider, but I like, especially like this.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not like? Imagery.
Russell
Like, how
Murchie
do
is
you
a
not
great
like
artist.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Hey, you know what? Let's break off really quick. I want to talk about that. Steven did the art for both your albums. Um, AI is really controversial right now on the scene. We got big bands using some AI images, and some people are too stoked about that. You guys obviously did not go the AI route. It's not a conscious decision.
No, and we never will.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So you guys like
No,
sought out. Did you seek out a particular artist, or you're like, we're gonna find somebody?
You know, it's going to be an interesting process because we haven't thought of. I don't think we found a guy yet for this. I'm not sure if we're going to go the same route or not. I think we might change directions a little bit, you know, and we need to find somebody. Actually, I think. So,
Yeah, gotta kind of bring the songs together, maybe
Yeah.
get a concept. It
Yeah.
kind of glues it together a little bit, and then really kind of throw some ideas out. But I think.
But I am 100% against artificial artwork. I don't think it lends. I don't think any original band should be using something computer generated to say who they are. What does that say about you? You know, I don't know. I
No,
guess.
I agree with you. I will tell you, as a consumer of music, if I have to pick between two albums and one of them has an AI album cover art, the other
Right.
one doesn't, it's probably actually a major part of my decision in my purchase. So I appreciate what you guys do. I appreciate you guys using Steve and Yoyada's art because it's so, like, what was it for you guys that you were like, yeah, that's what we want to use, that guy's art?
Actually, let me correct you on that. So it's actually a collaboration between Yoyada. He does like the lettering usually,
Okay,
and then
okay.
and then Russell Murchie, he's from Australia. He does
Sorry,
the
Russell.
actual motorcycle guy generally. Yeah.
So his name one more time is Russell.
Russell Murchie.
Right on, Russell.
I think
We'll get you full credit on that, buddy. Sorry about
I
that.
think it's Murchie, I believe.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Like, I look at that and, like, when I think about your band,
I think Kip found him on on Instagram or something. So I think that's where we got the connection from for him. But yeah. So we just like
cool,
his art.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a big deal to me, and one of the reasons I started collecting vinyl again was because I like the art. And that kind of stuff just is just amazing to me. Hey, I want to talk about the San Diego scene. We touched on it briefly. You guys said it was hard to get people out. Like, when I started getting into the San Diego scene, the first bands I listened to, Earthless and Harsh Toke and Sacramonte had an album last year, and it's all pretty psychedelic stuff, you know. And you guys are like a hard rock band. Do you? Are there more hard rock bands in San Diego that I just don't know about, and or is it kind of a psychedelic scene?
There's that kind of a heavy, like Kip, and there's a little crew that's kind of becoming more and more cohesive and collaborative in terms of getting shows and supporting each other. And I think that, but that's definitely kind of a hard rock scene. What typically draws here is cover band and
metal music,
and
like
tribute bands,
growling metal stuff. Yeah,
growling metal stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's the big scene here. Is like the main bar we have in town mainly does heavy metal stuff. So we don't get to play there very often, but
You guys, like, you're pretty uncompromising in your musical, your writing and the. Are you happy to be part of this scene and making the music you're making, even though it's not necessarily the most popular thing going right now?
I'm proud of what we do. I don't think it's the best scene for us. I think we could thrive somewhere like in Texas or Arkansas or something like that. I feel like we'd be twice the band we are anywhere else in the United States, possibly, but maybe not anywhere. San Diego's definitely not a conducive environment for our kind of music, but maybe that's why we do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think to let the music speak for itself, get it out there, right? Let it go worldwide. Let people get interested. It's really totally organic business.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter where you live because we're gonna have to travel to go play for people anyways. So I guess in the long run, exactly. Yeah. Hey, that sounds amazing.
You need to get out to Colorado.
Hey, you guys, I have a question from one of your biggest fans, and I'm a huge fan of Mary Villa. She turned me onto your band. She's like just a super kick-ass heavy rock fan. And
Hey, Mari.
I found out about your band through Mary, and her, is it Mary or Mari?
Mari.
I think Mari.
Mari, if I'm mispronouncing it, my apologies. Your first name should be a badass rock and roll. But your question is, when can we expect the new albums? You guys have any kind of dates or estimates?
I'm really hoping by the end of the year.
Yeah.
What is it? It's already almost May.
Yeah.
We haven't. I know, right? Sorry to remind you.
I know, dude. I'm aging like before my own eyes.
So we are in the process of getting the drummer ready to start recording the first batch of songs. From there, it should go pretty quickly for guitars and vocals because I already have all that stuff kind of done in my head or whatever. So it's just kind of getting the initial tracking done for the drums. That's what's holding us up right now. And unfortunately, Lou's a pretty busy guy, so he spends his weekends working on it. So I think we're close.
Yeah,
I think we're very close.
We gotta put something on the calendar
And then
book it and make it happen.
And then it takes 3 to 6 months to get the vinyl pressed. So it's just kind of, do we release it before the vinyl's ready, or do we do it just on streaming alone? How do we want to?
As long as I have the vinyl by next January for my birthday, I'll be happy. No, I'm just kidding. Whatever you guys get crazy.
We'll make that as a goal. Yeah.
It's January 19th, boys. No, I'm just kidding.
You're 19th. Mine's 24th. Nice.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
January birth. Oh, we'll have to you guys should come out to Vegas next year. We'll have some beers. Well, I won't have any beers, but you guys have some beers and I'll smoke a joint.
Hell yeah. I smoke too.
Well, okay, then we'll smoke a joint. You guys, you got the album coming. Do you guys have anything else big going on this year? I know the album's a big deal. You have some shows you want to talk about, or you guys, hunkering down and concentrating on studio work? Or what do you guys?
We're trying to hunker down, but we keep getting contact from out of town bands that want to play show. They come to California, they want to go to San Diego. So it's like, we're like, hey, let's clear the calendar off. But next thing you know, it's like, hey, we got so and so's coming into town. We got to do a gig. You want to do play?
Yeah.
So it's
always
a process.
There's like a dry spell, and then all of a sudden you get hit up by like 7 people at the same time, and then all of a sudden your year is booked. You're like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We're supposed to be recording right now.
Man, well, I'm telling you what, you guys live are just phenomenal. Like, definitely, I can't even overstate this, what a highlight that was for me to see you guys in Texas. It was just awesome, man. I appreciate you guys letting me use your song. You're so cool about that. Hey,
Yeah,
I had like one more. Do we have is that an animal somewhere? I hear an animal squeaking. It's my dog, Chico. Okay, cool. I thought we were going to have an animal appearance. All right, cool. Chico, calm down, buddy. We're almost done. All right. You guys, there was one last thing I wanted to really hit on, and besides Whiskey Bent, I love the song Bottom Feeder on Divination. And there's some really important lyrics in that song for you guys as a band, I know, but for the rest of us in the scene, and the first set of lyrics is, "You don't know a thing about me," and like we're a little different in the scene, right?
Tell
Like,
them the
do you
story
guys
that
feel like that's a pretty accurate, like you talked about, kind of being outsiders in San Diego in your
Yeah.
own scene? Do you
Yeah.
is that where that kind of thing, that thought is coming from?
No, but I like people to make their own interpretations of songs because I think you connect better with lyrics when you make your own connections in your head. And I know I always have. Like when I find out what a song's really about, I'm like, oh, that's not what I
So
got at
just
all from that.
you're right.
yeah, that's the point.
Man, Dan, you're absolutely right. I will tell you
I
that
mean, I'll tell
the
you
most.
if you want, but I just don't want to
Well, sure,
ruin
bud. I want to know. Well, hell yeah.
Well, so on the first album on Heathens, when we released it, there was a British magazine called what was their name?
We'll leave it undisclosed.
Yeah. Anyway,
Those guys. No, I'm just kidding.
we submitted a song of the album for review or whatever. You know, it's get on the back 9 pages of the magazine or whatever. And I guess they didn't like it very much. He gave us kind of a poor review of the album, and I didn't take it with much grace.
Good. You shouldn't. It's your art.
So I just kind of once I read the review, it's not even that big of a deal. In my head, I kind of started formulating this song about like a response to his review of us. He called us. He's like something about mediocrity, and this album is very middle of the road, kind of thing. It's like, well, I mean,
It's his opinion, right?
What's your opinion?
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sure. He's. I mean,
Well,
everybody
so am I.
can have a
Someone
wrong
write a fucking
opinion.
song
That's
about
fine.
you too, then.
Right. Dude, it's like how do you feel about critics, right? There's critics in the world and their
Yeah.
whole job
Yes.
is to just be controversial.
Right.
They have different styles, right? So, it's a song about critics, really.
It's a song about
one of the
critics.
things I
It's
like
a song
about
for
being
critics, yes.
Yeah, so one of the things I like about doing journalism in this scene is that, if I don't like something, I'm just not going to talk about it. There's like no real. I'm not going to shit on somebody's art. And not everything's for everybody. And I do appreciate how hard everybody's working to make the art that they love.
Yeah, and I think a lot
So,
of people don't
I like
understand how
that.
much work
That's
goes
pretty
into
much
it.
a theme here, is we don't trash each other's work. I do appreciate that.
Exactly. It takes a lot of time and effort to put an album out. I mean, like
For even being a band, right?
even being a band. I mean, we're the band. You pay monthly rent and you're writing songs. Whenever you get a free moment of inspiration, you're writing songs, you're recording, you're playing live shows, you're setting up shows, you're doing radio interviews and things like that. And it's always you're just always doing something, and somebody that's like, yeah, whatever, they're okay.
Their job kind of
Okay.
piss on shit and light fire
Yeah,
in some ways
exactly.
because it sells
So
or whatever.
you're the tip of the fucking iceberg there, So
Yeah.
Well, man, I just want to. You guys are awesome, and I appreciate that. I just want to close with the lyric that is the theme for every band in the scene that I've talked to, and it's, we do it for ourselves, not for you. And you know what? I think that's why your music is so good. Fuck that guy. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. But like every band I listen to that I love, and I ask them what they always tell me they're making the music for themselves.
Yes.
And they like it. And I think that's what makes it great.
Yes. I think when bands start trying to write for everybody else, you definitely start losing the reason why you started in the first place.
Mhm.
And if I'm not excited about it, why should anybody else be, So
It fizzles out.
Yeah.
Right? It's unsustainable, really.
Yeah.
Unless you got some kind of personality issue and you're doing things for the wrong reasons.
But if it doesn't move me, then I don't want to release it. Yeah, it shouldn't be out there, It's
You guys, your stuff moves me for sure.
Thank you,
Love your
Don.
band.
Thank you.
I
Appreciate
really appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to me.
Of course.
Alex and Dan, I know you guys are going to have a great year. I'm super excited about your album. I know
Sure.
it's got to be a good feeling that bands want to play with you when they come to town. So you guys have big shows coming up. I'll be definitely happy to talk about those.
We represent San Diego.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I
We
can't
always
wait to see you
represent
guys.
San Diego, So
Yeah, and
Hell
I mean,
yeah,
going
dude,
back to going back to why we do it. I mean, one of the best things about it is like meeting other musicians from other countries and other states.
Yeah.
And getting to know them. They're all in the trenches just like we are.
Yeah.
But they do it because they love it, right? So it's really, that's the best part of this, right? When I got to meet you sitting at the merch table after Ripplefest, I mean, that's really that was a highlight of the trip, is just kind of meeting people that came out to support music.
Totally.
And getting to know them and other bands and shooting the shit and thinking about going to Europe someday and, you know, opening up for this other band or whatever. It's like, that's why, you know, that's what pumps me up.
Totally. There was a dude from Scotland waiting at the merch table for me to get the fuck off stage and go sell him a t-shirt and a record, you know? He's like, I've been
Pretty sure I
waiting
know who
so
that dude
long to
was.
see you guys. I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
What would you say to
It's
that,
so
you know?
crazy, right?
Yeah. It's cool.
The scene, like Andrea and I talked about, we talked about going to Vegas the first time for Planet Desert Rock, and it was like, it's like weirdly more local than our own local scene. Like
Totally.
going to Ripplefest
Right.
feels like like locals, man. It's like I know all these people. It's so cool.
Yeah,
And like the people I don't
exactly.
know, I want to meet them.
Exactly. And we,
All right, you guys.
you know, oh, yeah.
No, Dan,
And-
go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know, and then like Omega Sun, we did a few shows with them when they got into town, and most of these bands are just so gracious to have, you know, for us to help them set up a few shows, and, you know, and they want us to go to Slovenia and do it the same with them. So it's like, it's a good in for us as well.
You
We all,
guys,
we all try to help each other out, you know.
you guys would be a
We're coming
smash
for
hit.
you. We're coming for you in Colorado.
And you guys
Yeah.
are the best for doing this. I really appreciate it, man. We're looking forward to your new album. I love you guys, man. Thank you so much for being here. Do you guys have anything that you want to end with?
Just thanks for watching, man. Thanks for loving the music.
Thank you. We'll
Keep
do it again when we get the new one out. Yeah.
Dude, we will definitely do it again. Absolutely. I love the conversation. You guys are awesome. So, hey, I'm going to sign off, but if you guys could hang on for 1 second, I'm just going to say
You bet.
goodbye to everybody else, and then we'll talk about it behind their backs. Hey, this is S. Patrick Brooks with the Heavy Underground Farm Report, and I was honored to have Dan and Alex from
Right on.
one of my favorite bands in the world. This band, we love 400, baby. Right on, you guys. Hey, I got 2 stickers. This show was the Heavy Underground Farm Report, and we're sponsored by Electric Desert Records. All right. Hey, you guys, I appreciate you. Hang on 1 second.
Yeah!